and hand it over to you.
And here we go. And by the way, if you do get the newsletter, it does include the link, the presentation and the link for the brown bag lunch. So you would be getting that in any event, so obviously sign up to the newsletter and it will tell you what classes are upcoming as well. So happy Monday morning. It is now warm again. I was shocked the other day when I walked out and instead of being 40 degrees, it was almost 60. It's like, oops, I'm wearing too many coats. So welcome to spring, or it feels like spring. And I'm delighted to welcome you all to our talk by Ann Lindsay, who is president of Life Care Humboldt's Board of Directors, a group focused on establishing a nonprofit senior life plan community in Humboldt County. She was Humboldt County Public Health Officer from 1993 to 2011. She and her husband, Alan Glasseroff, MD, shared a family practice in Arcata for 28 years and raised their two children here. They were recruited to Stanford University in 2011 to establish a primary care clinic for Stanford employees and dependents and their families who have multiple chronic health conditions. The clinic improved care, lowered costs, and achieved top rankings in patient satisfaction with adoption of a new model of team care. The lure of life in Humboldt brought them back in 2017, and she's been working on creating Life Care Humboldt so she will not have to leave Humboldt County again. And she's going to tell us all about this. It's now called Humboldt Commons after a whole discussion of different names that people proposed. And we're welcome to have you here. Thank you.
Great. It's wonderful to be here. And I just want to put in a plug for joining OLLI because um, a few years ago, I was traveling in Europe and you join OLLI, then you have to go to the library and get it issued as student ID. But I used it to get into museums and get discounts and everything. So it paid off more than $35. So anyway, let me bring up the screen. And I'm um, Kyle, I'll introduce you in a minute. Here we go. Um,
Yeah, you have a co-presenter. So yes.
all right, here we go. So, we have a new look and a new name. And it's actually Life Plan Humboldt had a naming contest and we got over 300 submissions and some of them, the one I liked best was the last resort, but we decided not to use that. And Humboldt Commons, we felt really reflected that we're creating a community that's really Humboldt to the core, and commons that we want to be linked the broader community, not and as opposed to being an isolated senior community. Um, we do have now are working with Varsity and Kendall on marketing, so that's also how the new look. Our website, lifeplanhumboldt.org, is transitioning to humboldt.kendall.org, and I'll show you that link later on as well. So bear with us um, during the transition. Some things have made it over there and some things haven't yet, but we're really excited about uh, telling you all about what's happening with Humboldt Commons right now. That we are really just making great progress on building an alternative for seniors to age in community here. And one thing, we've been working on this for 6 years. And we've been really, a lot of changes have happened all along. And all those changes are dictated by our main goal of creating a community that's Humboldt style and keeping the fees low enough so that mid-income seniors can afford to sign up and move in, and maintaining the quality of the community as well. The site's in McKinleyville, as you probably know, but this is a county-wide project, and I think there's a very interesting slide that shows where the seniors are all over the county. And our focus is, as I said, is Humboldt made, and wherever you live in Humboldt, Humboldt Commons is closer geographically and socially than other Life Plan communities, which are at least 200 miles away. So let's see, this has a picture of Kyle on it, but I'm getting blocked because I gotta minimize there we go. If you minimize the other people's faces, you can see Kyle Solomon, who's on involved here today also with us. We have a new welcome center, which is on Heartwood Drive in McKinleyville. It's right next to the property that we've acquired, and also next to Timber Ridge in McKinleyville. And Kyle has been working with us for several months, and he's the marketing and sales lead, because we're getting into the position now where we're actually going to be taking people's money for and to get on a waiting list. And so our office is staffed 5 days a week. Oh, wanted to go again. Oh, here we go. So Humboldt Commons will offer residents opportunities to stay connected, even when you can't drive anymore. And that's all the, whatever, 45 years I've lived in Humboldt County, I've seen how dependent most of us are on cars to keep connected. And actually, COVID was kind of an introduction to what being isolated in your home can be like. And now we're all happy to be out and around again, but this is really, it's why I'm involved with it, because as I age, I want to be connected and easily connected. And many of you have participated in multiple surveys about what you'd like to see in Humboldt Commons, and we're designing Humboldt Commons with your guidance. So the buzzwords are connection, connected to nature, keep things simple but good quality, and sustainability. So we are a Kendall community. We've affiliated recently with Kendall, and Kendall is a federation of nonprofit life plan communities, and you can see on the map there are 10 others, and each affiliate has its own board of directors and is locally directed, which is one of the things that attracted us to Kendall, because we didn't want to have we wanted to be associated with other life plan communities, but we didn't want them running the show. We wanted guidance, and we wanted the connection with other as we grow. Right now, Kyle working with marketing people from all over, from all 10 other communities. We in touch with getting guidance on contracting and planning and development, and it's very exciting. And it's really a full circle for me, because in 1973 I visited a Kendall community in Pennsylvania, and I just actually graduated from college, and I'm not sure why I ended up there, except that it was right close to a botanical garden. It was a beautiful botanical garden, and it was a beautiful day, and the sun was shining, and there was string quartet playing and poetry reading happening, and I just got this impression that Kendall Communities is like living, going to college but no exams, because the idea is, and it's one that we've embraced at Humboldt Commons, is you come, You share your skills, and we have a lifetime of skills, all of us. You can learn, continue to learn new things, and it's very much along the lines of what OLLI does, but we want to keep that in our community. That Life Plan Humboldt and Humboldt Commons values that we have, which you can see on our website, really match well with the Kendall Quaker inspired values. And they have really foster community, respect, and collaboration. And this is, you can see one of them is at Kendall on Hudson. One of the things that Kendall's excited about is some of the Kendalls are more costly to join, and they really appreciate our effort to be available to mid-income seniors as well. Kyle Solomon, our marketing and sales lead, has been working closely with Kendall. They put him in training. He had a background in sales, but it was new to the idea of senior living and life plan communities. And he's a quick study. So he's really taken advantage every chance he can get of learning and really about Humboldt Commons and about Kendall's. So we do things differently in Humboldt. And we've learned, actually, a number of board members, myself included, go to a national conference called Leading Age, which is, there's over 1,000 senior life plan community, nonprofit, and senior housing providers who attend. And we realize how unique we are is our effort of local people working together to build a community that they want to live in. This is not, a corporation telling us what we should do. It's you guys and working with us to build a real grassroots effort. We've gotten $1.5 million in donations from you. And an update is that we did set an end of the year fundraising goal of $160,000, and we did get to $162,302. So thank you, thank you. We also unique is our partnership with a Rural Community Housing Development Corporation, which is also a nonprofit, and they have experience developing and operating in low-income housing for low-income seniors in the rural Northern California area. And we are going to be subdividing and making 2 acres available to them to build apartments and work with us together. So in our house, I don't know about you all, but I've lived in my house for 43 years, and I've kind of really made it a comfortable place for me. And it's a little bit scary thinking of moving and leaving it all. But one of the mantras that my husband and I, as things go, break around the house or need to be done, our mantra is just call maintenance, and that's given us, really getting us really excited about living in a community where, if your toilet backs up, you call somebody else to fix it. And the other advantage of Humboldt Common is really, when you think about it, it gives you the opportunity for those of you who own a home to preserve the equity of your home, because the entry fees are going to be largely refundable to you or your estate when you leave, or or die or leave otherwise. And whereas in your home, the things it gets harder and harder to maintain things, gets costly, and what I've seen of people I know age in their homes, it's oftentimes the home is not as worth as much as it was at one point when it was in good shape. But the Humboldt Commons is in a great location in downtown McKinleyville. It's really walkable to all kinds of amenities. And we'll be offering healthcare coordination. And as with many of the final details, that remains to be decided exactly what we're going to do in that. But we will have hire a person to help people get services and live and to the utmost of their wellness. I work in Humboldt Commons, as do many of the people who on the board and volunteers, because I need an option and Humboldt needs an option for seniors. We're blessed to have quite a few assisted living and memory care options here, but generally, people go to assisted living when that's an option of last resort. Whereas a life plan community, you move in when you're independent and benefit from all the activities and connections independent, and yet get support as things come up as you age. We've had over 17,000 volunteer hours reported since January 2023. And I want to thank you, any of you who volunteer for Life Plan Humboldt and Humboldt Commons. We could not have made it this far without you. Our board of directors is amazing. It's Mark Chatton, Pat Gertze, Joanne Shook, Kirk Gerard, Greg Orsini, George Williamson, Ira Blatt, and myself. And we just adding a new board member, Julie Chiarelli, who recently retired as the chief financial officer of Humboldt Hospice of Humboldt. And she actually has in her work history that she was an assistant administrator at Eschaton as a life plan community in the Sacramento area. So I do want to say, in terms of volunteering, we're working on making it more clear on our website how to do that. But you can go to Humboldt Commons, humboldt.kendall.org and go contact us. Click that and put on the bottom that you're interested in volunteering. We also, you can use that. We're going to have a separate tab to stay connected, or get our newsletter. And also another way that's the way which you can connect to Kyle Solomon, or if you have questions about how things are developing, or if you'd like to get engaged with some of the ongoing updated activities. Yeah, we're going to have time for answer questions. Okay, so McKinleyville Town Center, there's an update on that. Actually, we joined in with the whole McKinleyville Town Center an environmental impact report, which has been, and basically their development plan, which has been approved by the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commission. And that's really exciting. It means that going forward, the general guidelines to our development have been approved. And so we can go right to as long as we follow those guidelines, we can go right to the building department for our permits. Also really exciting is north of us, across the street, kind of behind the Safeway, there's 43 acres of just the other patch of undeveloped property in the McKinleyville Town Center. And it's owned by Ann Pearson, and she is in the process of forming a nonprofit with really some outstanding community members as board members, and to which she is going to deed the entire 43 acres and the McKinleyville Shopping Center, so that as the development of that property happens, it'll have direct community input and guidance. And I think that's so exciting. It just is really a boon to us at Humboldt Commons, but also to the general community. So our plans are evolving, but currently we're planning 109 homes with 47 cottages, and you see the cottages are connected, but they'll look different, but they are connected, and 62 apartments. We've added a one-bedroom cottages based on our feedback we've gotten from you. We'll also have a few studios, and one bedroom and two bedroom apartments. So the two-bedroom cottages, one-bedroom cottages, two-bedroom, one-bedroom apartments, and studios. We changed architects. The architect we were working with sort of abruptly took a new job, and we decided we liked the architect better than we liked the company we were working with. So we've switched, and now we're working with LSW Architects out of Vancouver, Washington. And they have a real good sense of the Pacific Northwest flavor that we appreciate here. And they listen, and they've been here and visited, and Joanne Shook has driven them all around and showed them all the homes here, and they got it really working with us with a lot of input, not only from the board, but some other volunteers about designing a community that's really going to fit in here and be a place you'll be proud to live in. You can see the green spots off to the right, or just to the east, is the property we're going to be subdividing, and will be developed for the affordable senior housing. And there's also a piece of property undeveloped to the west, or to the left of your screen. And if we make real go of it, we'll have to decide what to do with that property, but perhaps we'll grow some point. So here's our design update. And we've completed a basic concept design, and we're working actually with the architects, and they're coming tomorrow and for 2 days to keep working on the schematic design, which is basically it's more solidifying what things are going to look like, making three elevations, putting in floor plans. At which point, once we get that done at the end of March, we work then back with a contractor, and we're working with Pacific Builders, a local contractor, on design development. And that is where we get our cost estimates, and make sure that we have everything, that the accessibility is there for seniors, that acoustic, that we want to have good soundproofing. Everybody tells us that we really have a project that can go. That we developed construction documents starting in July of 2026. That's coming up soon, and hopefully we get our building permit sometime in the fall, and begin construction late in 2026, and with a projected move-in in early 2029. So that's also new development. We have one of the things I'm really excited about, and there is the landscaping, and we really want to focus on native plants and low water plants and things that are not invasive. Lango Hansen is the architect we're working with that. And we have a local committee of some real stars. Carol Ralph, with years of experience in the Native Plant Society, Steve Durham, who's actually quite active in the Rhododendron Society, Tom Lyle, who is involved with the wetland in McKinleyville, the area, the McKinleyville Land Trust, Mark Chatton, Joanne Shook, Boyan Inglis, and myself were just interested partners. So that's exciting. We also in the on the property is almost 2 acres of wetland, and that will be a seasonal pond. And if any of you want to get a preview of what that might look like, you might visit the Gene Lucas Center in Fortuna, because they have a gorgeous wetland with trails around that they've restored, and it's a good example of what we can do. So here's other big news. We are setting up a future residence priority list. So what the heck is that? We call them FERPL, but it means that it's like essentially a waiting list. And we're asking people to put $1,000 refundable deposit, and that secures your place in line for future resident selections. And it will enable you, will make sure to keep you informed of ongoing project updates, and you'll be the first to hear amongst of changes and new things happening in Humboldt Commons. It's important that you know we're planning on that there'll be many more future residents on the future resident priority list than we actually will have residents for, but not everybody is planning to move in right away. And usually it works out that even if you're not in the, I said we have 109 units. If you're not in the top 109 in the list, it's not to worry, because the list will go pretty far down on the list. People on the top really sign up for the list because they want to move in someday, but they're not quite ready to move in 2029. And that's one thing Kyle's been explaining to people right and left. Have a timeline here. So we're now through April, we're going to be focusing on the future residence priority list. In May and through November, we're going to start taking reservations, and Kyle Solomon will be contacting people on the future residence priority list to schedule interviews, to review the terms, and allow residence selection. And I know many of you have saying, well, how much is this going to cost? Now, how much is this going to cost? And I've been really hesitant to even give estimates, because we really have to plan the community and get the pricing from the contractor. But before you're asked to put a 10% reservation, 10% down, we will have that information, both for the entry fee and then the monthly fee that will help pay for internet and maintenance and meal plan and activities and support, so care coordination. So we have some information sessions coming up, and there's still some spots in February 26th, later this week at 1 p.m. at the McKinleyville Family Resource Center. Of course, on February 27th, there's a Zoom webinar, and so there's always room for people on Zoom. In person, March 3rd at the Eureka Women's Club, and March 24th at the McKinleyville Family Resource Center, and March 26th, we're going down to Fortuna, and March 27th, we're going to have another webinar. And actually, we're going to have the last Friday of every month webinars for ongoing updates. And if those times, any of these times aren't convenient, and you're really interested in learning more about Humboldt Commons, please contact Kyle, and I'll put his contact information up again before the end. But he will be getting together alternatives for other groups and or individuals to learn more about Humboldt Commons and how to become a resident. So here you
I
go.
may just interrupt real quick, Ann,
Yeah, please
just to let
do.
individuals know about the February 26th, 1 p.m., as well as the March 3rd, 3 p.m. They do say full capacity on our website. We did reach capacity over the weekend, but I urge you to please still reach out. And there have been cancellations consistently as well. So I'd be happy to work it out and see which is still available then.
So you can reach Kyle at humboldt.kendall.org. So, and he's really good at explaining things. He has background in real estate and sales. So, all of us are wondering, how are we going to negotiate this move? It's a big deal for us. And with time, that's one of the things that we're going to be offering people is some move-in assistance or counseling. Also, I really want to encourage people to, if you're interested at all in volunteering and donating, I mean, actually the donations have slacked off since we're in the process of changing our website, but volunteers have been really important in helping us. Periodically, we have what we call friend-raising parties, and our volunteers we call them ambassadors, help to organize those parties and get people there, and they help on all kinds of outreaches, just on a personal level. We keep the ambassador volunteers up to date on really what's happening so they can answer questions to their friends. We are planning every year for the last several years, we've had a big gala, a Raise the Roof gala at the Fieldbook Winery. And looks like it might be happening in September this year. We do fundraising, and so the big question is, well, why are we still fundraising? We do actually have a budget and plans for how to make that budget work and get us to the point of the construction and the bond financing. But every dollar we raise gives us a little wiggle room on that. And that expenses come up, the unplanned or the cost of construction is changing. And so really that's is still, as a nonprofit, it's still an important thing what we do. And I just want to thank you all for attending, and thank every one of you who's helped make Humboldt Commons happen, and open this up to questions. So should I leave this? Should we put these numbers in? Kyle, maybe you can put your contact information in the chat and we can stop share so we can see people. How's that?
Sounds great. I'll put that in the message, and if it's okay, I'll start with if I'm saying it right, Katarina's first question. She had asked, will there be grab bars, and kind of reserve or kind of referencing to the design and the layout of the community. And we will be building this as a thoughtful design, making it accessible as much as possible. The entire building per se won't be fully ADA, but we will be making it with senior living in mind, as well as specific units will be fully ADA certified, if that hopefully answers your question.
Well, and the idea, Kyle, is that they will be adaptable, basically. So you need to have doorways wide enough, and grab bars at places. And the thing that I'm agitating for, and I like the best, is the electric plugs are more waist level, so you don't have to get down on your hands and knees to plug things in. But the idea is to really, if your mobility changes, I mean, that's one of the problems with most of our homes, is that your mobility changes. It's really hard to go home. But we want to make it so you can go home to Humboldt Commons.
Absolutely. And then Jane had asked, is there a concept of how the, I think, acreage being donated by
Yeah.
Ann Pearson will be developed?
Yeah, I can answer that.
Mhm.
You can refer to on the Humboldt County, if you go to the McKinleyville Municipal Advisory Committee or a Humboldt County Planning Department, you can see the McKinleyville Town Center plan. And that really shows that it'll be mixed use development. One exciting thing is there's about 17 acres of wetland that will be developed so that people can have trails through it and places to walk your dog and walk yourself. But there'll be a commercial development with apartments on top, some multifamily housing. They're talking about having a transit hub there. So the general guidelines have been set out by the community process over a number of like 6 years at least. And but the specifics remain to be developed.
I also asked if Humboldt Commons will have a seat on that board.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think if we right now we've got our hands full doing what we have to do, and it depends on what their time frame is. And and I would think I'm really excited actually about the political influence that we're going to have once we're at Humboldt Commons. I mean, there'll be whatever 150, 200 active seniors really trying to keep McKinleyville making it better and better all the time. And so that's really one possibility that we could, since property across the street, the Ann Pearson's property is on a different time frame. I think that they're more off into the future. That's a great idea. Whoever said that.
I did.
Yeah,
Jane.
good.
You might want to be involved if possible.
Kyle, can you talk about, does your 10% collect interest?
Yes, so your 10% does not collect interest. Any deposit you place with us does not specifically collect interest. The way I like to approach it is it's not a investment vehicle putting any deposit or amount of money with us. It's more of a preservation of assets with our refundability components. And then another question I had seen that was from OLLI to everyone. If there's going to be low income housing that's being built, what's the company name that's building the apartments and their contact information? It is the Rural Community Housing Development, and we do not have any specific list or contact information for them at this moment, as they will be making that public. They will most likely have a list and fill their property after it has been built.
Just one thing, I think that it's important for people to know that there's depends on where the funding comes from when low income housing is built, is how to get on a waiting list. But it doesn't hurt to contact the Humboldt Housing Authority and get yourself on a list in case that's where their funding comes from. Last I heard from Rural Community Housing, they're going to be able to, the way they're funding, they're going to have their own waiting list. But this way, you get on a, just not like this answers the question about the future residents list. If you get to the top of the list, you don't necessarily have to jump in, and join up. And Kyle can talk a little bit more about that. But that last I checked, there were hundreds, if not 1,000 people on the affordable housing waiting list at the Humboldt County Housing Authority. And so it takes a while to percolate up to the top. So that's a good way if you're eligible for to check and see if you're eligible for low income housing and to get your options open. Go ahead, Kyle. Maybe you can talk about the
Talk about the low income housing portion.
What is it? Oh, the waiting list. If you
I
don't
was
want to
going
move in
to
right away.
continue down to Sue. It asked about the priority waiting list, and if you're not ready to move in right away, that's totally fine. You stay on the list. The way I explain it is you're either going to stay at your same spot on the list, if not move up, as referencing to what Ann was talking about with not everybody being ready to move in. That's one thing where they would stay on the list above you, but there are many individuals who are going to move into their units. They would come off the list then, as well as individuals who maybe don't qualify or take themselves off the list in the process. So you are guaranteed your spot on the list, if not higher, if you're not ready to move in right away. And then John Clark had asked, do you publish your current financials? I'm
Yeah,
pretty confident.
as a nonprofit, we have to make refile a 990, and that's publicly
Mhm,
available.
exactly. And Katarina's, I was alluding to the waist tie outlets. I think you're referring to maybe the grab bars and stuff. Totally understand. And what level and type of medical care will be provided? There will be no direct medical care on site. Anne is referencing our healthcare coordinator that will be on site that will definitely keep up to date on your health plan, your current health status, and really try and put you in touch with the services that are in the area, as we're hoping for an expert that's local and understands the environment in which they're working in.
And this is one of the big questions that remains to be fleshed out. And it's hard for Kyle and I to talk about things because then whatever we say might change. But
Mhm.
our goal is to help people get services they need one way or another. And so that I'll give another OLLI and when I have more updates.
Indeed. And then Claudia was asking when we'll know the 10%. I'm happy to announce at least our starting for our studio apartment entrance fees will be at $375,000. So the lowest amount that a 10% would be $37,500 we estimate at the current moment. That is a number with an asterisk next to it that's associated with any changes in construction or development, but that's where we can say at least it would start. 10% would be off of the unit that you pick. So it would be at least that or greater. The next question from Sylvia, can couples sign up? Would that be $2,000? And then what are the age and functional requirements? I can say the age requirement is going to be 62 or older. At least one person in the couple would need to be that age. We do consider an individual who's either in the couple or who's going to reside in the unit lower than 62 on a one-off basis. And then the functional requirements, we have not determined those yet. To Ann's point, there's a lot of things we want to answer, but we haven't gotten the exact details yet. And for couples signing up, that would only be $1,000, assuming it's for a single unit. So basically, each priority list spot of $1,000 is good for reserving one unit when the time comes. Is there a point when you need services beyond that can be provided there? That's where we're looking to partner, as I'm sure Ann can elaborate more than I can on using the resources that are around us already, as it will be solely independent living for us to start. So yes, as someone was, I see Jane had put Timber Ridge. That's a great resource that's next door that we're looking to at least align closely with, if not directly partner with, for at least options, and the fact that we do want to create a community in which you can age as much as possible in place, but arranging those services if the time comes.
I want to say that the board has as their goal to ultimately expand services, more direct services of assisted living and memory care on site. But a lot depends on how the whole thing rolls out, whether we're successful with initiating the independent living with giving people support, and arranging for outside support to come help them with that. The issue is that it costs, every square foot you build costs a lot of money. And if we build a specific like memory care home, and it's not full, then essentially everybody who's living in the independent units is subsidizing that. And in the interest of keeping everybody's fees down, we're going to build it as the need develops and as our resources develop. And it gets easier to do more development once you have one development completed. Is that fair way of describing it, Kyle?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I thought a good question, maybe you can touch on this, Anne, as I know we haven't determined it yet, but who decides when you need to transition if you did from independent living to, let's say, a Timber Ridge or
Yeah. Um, that will also, typically, that's one of the nice things I think about working with Kendall, is they have a lot of experience in how to keep people independent as long as possible. I mean, there's a lot of services available that you can independently contract for and stay independent. And then when can't you do, if you can't get out of bed and at all, um, it gets harder to stay there. I think I don't know we don't know the exact answer, and that's something else we're going to be developing. And I apologize for it used to be a lot more confidence in saying what things are going to be, but as we get close down to the moment, it's really not fair to you to promise something that we are working on. And so the more nuanced things get, the quieter we have to be till we figure it out.
the agreed? Great answers to that. I think we're pretty much current with questions right now.
Do you have some concept of how the money would work if you had to move, for example, and you basically had fully paid? There was a point at which you said you could get 80% back. Um, is that still there? Because if you had to transition, you'd need to have funds to transition with.
So to answer that, we do have a refundability component. The initial for, and it's not a determined amount. It's not based on who joins. It's based on the financial viability of the community, and that we will be accepting residents with a commitment to make an 80% repayment to them on their entrance fee. But at some point in the project life, some point while I'm taking 10% deposits, that will switch to 70% of a repayment of your entrance fee. And to your question of how would it work with transitioning to Timber Ridge, it would just be a full repayment of whatever percentage you're guaranteed from us. And you would separately coordinate that with them. We have not worked out any specific transfer of financials or residency with them. It's more that we want to work closely with them so they're aware of one by one cases of our specific residents, especially.
And you are considering having a memory care segment?
Someday,
Considering, yeah,
I know.
we
one of the
want
things I
to.
want to do is yeah, it's one of the things in the interim. And this is one thing I really pay a lot of attention to when I go to the leading age conferences. Things are changing. Life plan communities are getting out of the business of skilled nursing. They find like you can do almost everything outside of that setting. In terms of memory care, one really initial step we plan to make is to make the whole community friendly to people who are developing dementia and their caregivers. And that we can do that by training, community-wide training, for staff and residents. And we know and continue that over to Timber Ridge as well. On how do you best support somebody with dementia? There's a lot of really exciting things happening in this field. And really, it's one issue I'm really excited about, and I'm going to keep, as long as I'm around, I'm going to keep working on it to make it better and better and better.
Ann's point, something that I noticed as well as I attended leading age with them this year is it sounds convenient to say, oh, well, these services are not being created as much as they were before. The trend nationally is to really streamline things with technology as far as the healthcare coordination, as well as memory care and assisted living, not being involved in every single construction project now, as they are trying to build facilities with modern technology to facilitate a comfortable way of life, and where we can extend individuals who are needing that type of supports lifetime in our community more and more by the day. So that's what we're really focused on is being at the forefront of that. And it's something that we hope to be an example for as leading the way, not just in the Kendall communities, but in this entire space.
But this is not limited to Humboldt County residents. In fact, we've had a
Yes.
number of people from out of the area interested, like they either live in a fire-prone area or someplace that's super hot, or they have family here and they want to relocate and be closer to their family. So it's not limited to Humboldt County residents. Although we really are, what we're limiting ourselves to is we want to make it Humboldt friendly. And so people come from outside and that works for them, it works for us.
Indeed, open to anyone. To Claudia's question of monthly fees, are we estimating? I can't give even a ballpark. I'm not giving some non-answer and I have the number in my head. Haven't even been given estimates, but what I'd like to explain it as is envision your entrance fee being the purchase of your lifetime lease and your lifetime rights to live in Humboldt Commons. I approach the monthly fees as if you combined rent, utilities, HOA, meal plan, amenities, maintenance, all of those types of things all in one fee would be the monthly fees. So if that gives you an idea of what they would cover at the very least.
You're saying that even though you
No
have,
property tax and no homeowner insurance. No
Thank you.
property taxes, no homeowner insurance. Those are the
but
big.
you are including rent.
I like to explain
No,
it as that
no.
because of the amount that the monthly fees are, is that some compared to an HOA fee where they're thinking it's going to be hundreds. And I
Explain
just
the
like to give
HOA.
people
Explain HOA. Kyle,
Yeah.
HOA is not a term we know.
Excuse me?
What's a HOA fee?
homeowners association. Sorry, so I've had many questions where this is a consistent question where they compare it to a homeowners association fee that might be $400, $500, or $600 a month in addition to your mortgage or something like that. It's much more of a holistic fee that covers your cost of living, utilities, to Ann's point, insurance, taxes. The advantage of not owning the property is that we maintain it and we take care of all of those things.
So the monthly fee will likely change as the cost of living goes up. I mean, generally in other communities I've seen, they fix it to a cost of living adjustment.
And it's not
Um,
guaranteed.
yeah, intergenerational arrangements. That is one thing I really like about the McKinleyville location. We're not going to be isolated community. We already have a relationship, a formal agreement with the university for student placements, for student service learning and internships. And we've done some work with the engineering department, and so far, that's the one that we've had the most interaction with. There are ample opportunities to engage in community service with other levels, other people of other age levels. And we're envisioning basically an open campus. So we have events, we invite people of different ages to attend. The North Coast Performing Preparatory Arts Academy, the middle school and high school, is interested in working with us because we'll have a number of people who are musicians and artists want to move in and would like to keep that interaction going with younger people.
I had a great question about us accepting a resident who already needs some caregiving help. I want to be as upfront as possible that we just haven't determined what the medical qualification will be specifically for moving in the first place. That will be something that we make well aware to all the individuals as prospective residents before we ask for a 10% deposit or commit anyone to a unit.
I'm presuming the fee will be somewhere in the thousands. I think at Timber Ridge, it's something along the lines of 6,000 a month. Is that correct?
will be in the thousands. I can't speak to it as in relation to Timber Ridge per se, as we haven't been given an estimate, but yes, in the thousands.
Yeah.
We have had some people fill out, what they actually cost them to live at home now. And it's not that far different, when you factor
Okay.
in all the costs. And, then you won't have any big surprise costs like $25,000 to fix your roof, that kind of stuff.
Well,
But
that's why I was
one way to
asking.
get started, and as we get more information, one way in the next couple of months, kind of actually keep track of what you do cost you to live. A lot of people don't know.
Great question as well. So this starts strictly as an independent living facility. It does indeed start only as independent living. To kind of also answer or cover the question that Ann had touched on earlier about this is how it starts. We are strictly selling independent living right now, or advertising only independent living. There will not be a memory care or assisted living component as far as we know at the moment. But something important to note is that the way that is something that's feasible down the road is successfully launching the independent living community that we are right now. And that financially makes it more feasible down the road, possibly to have those services built out. So as far as what the desire of the board and individuals involved in this project, it's obviously something we would like to build out eventually. But we don't want you to be confused that that's in the works or something that's guaranteed.
I just want one thing is one thing the health coordinator can help with is arranging services, and we won't be having somebody who's going to pass medications, but there's a whole level of home health aid and home health services people need. And in your home, you have to hire somebody for 4 hours at a time. And we've talked to some different agencies who provide these services, and they said, we'd be happy with Humboldt Commons to allow people to group a 4 hour block. And so if you only need a half an hour or an hour, that's all you pay for. You don't pay for the whole 4 hours. So there are some advantages, not only to like staying connected with people, but also makes it easier to get services and makes it easier to interact with people of different generations than it probably is in your own home at the moment. Or, that if you can't, especially if you can't drive. Kendall's for the time being, Kendall is remaining as a partner. We're do have another level of affiliation once we're open, but we'll for at least the next 3 to 5 years, we're signed up with them, and I'm really excited about them. They're a good partner. They've got good values, and they've been very helpful.
Something I usually cover because individuals ask about Kendall and what it means to be an affiliate and stuff. I do like to cover for the individuals that don't know that Kendall is a nonprofit organization themselves. So who we are partnered with this and who's helping us launch this community right now. There is no for-profit engine between Life Plan Humboldt or Kendall. So both are working, putting all of the proceeds of the community back into the community. So you can be rest assured that there's no shareholders or anyone specific besides the residents and the board themselves that we answer to.
Yeah, somebody said they liked the idea of making it a dementia-friendly community. And actually, one of Pat Gertzik and I were at Leading Age, and we got really excited about, there's a community in Connecticut that's made the whole broader community dementia friendly. And so once we get in there, and as I said, the sky's the limit on what all this activated, independent seniors can do and to really improve McKinleyville. But there's ways to make even the broader community more friendly to people with dementia and supportive of people sharing care of people with dementia. So we're eagerly looking and signed up already to go to the next year's conference so that we can learn more.
And Betsy had a great question. Does Humboldt Commons have to be licensed by the Department of Social Services as an independent living facility? We are licensed to the fullest extent, especially here in California, as a CCRC, also known as a continued care retirement community. So we are in accordance with all of those licensing and prerequisites.
I wanted just a word about the licensing is it is we submitted our application and it is very focused on on whether you're going to take people's money and give them value for it and really have a viable financial operation. And so that's something I think that is helpful to people to know that California in particular is pretty strict licensing. So we get licensed, I think you can come and feel comfortable that we've got your best interest in mind.
And Denise Jones made a wonderful comment. Thank you so much for this presentation. I really appreciate your full disclosure of what you know at this time and what you don't, and what you are working on, plus providing us the information of Longevity Conference regarding newer thoughts on care as we age. Love the idea of the community at large learning how to be with others that have needs and how the residents can assist. Any other questions?
Thank you for that, Denise.
Yeah. Oh, there's a new one.
Oh, thank you.
That's another thank you.
That's a great point, though. I would like to touch on for-profit companies sprouting up everywhere. It's something as the sales partner over here that I incur a lot with people being worried about the contract structure and someone coming in and a large corporation buying us. These are all the types of things that you can be confident that are if not any worry, less of a worry with a nonprofit like Life Plan Humboldt, led by yours truly, Ann Lindsay, where we don't have a profit engine in the first place. So there's nothing sellable as far as a margin that we're making on individuals, as well as the fact that we also have the commitment to our residents as a nonprofit that if you were to some way along the way not be able to provide or continue paying for your residents, as long as we pre-qualified you financially and medically in the first place upon entrance, we're also committing to you that if it becomes financially unviable along the way, that we're going to work with you, obviously on one-off basis every time. But what that looks like may be determined, but making sure that the constant question I get is, will you kick us out on the street, or are we going to be evicted? No, absolutely not. And that's the commitment that we're making further than a for-profit entity, where this is a focus in community and security for a place that you can trust. Will we institute the increase on monthly fee to cost of increase?
Will you tie the two together?
Oh, yeah, the monthly fee increasing, yes, would be directly associated with cost of living. The only way we would increase the monthly fee is associated to cost of living, as far as I've been made aware. There's not a guarantee. The reason I say not a guarantee is there's not a guarantee cost of monthly fees will go up every year. They could. It's just those would be laid out in the contract structure.
You know, what a good question about having a direct connection with one of the local hospitals. And
Oh,
actually,
thank you.
the way, I don't know about you guys, but my family, when we try to get care, you can't get all your care you need in any one place. And actually, that's one thing where a care coordinator can help. And we're planning to have a video conferencing or thing, so that you can connect to providers outside of the community and get assistance doing that. Any of us can do that on our laptops, but sometimes when you're not feeling good or you're not capable of laptop, you're not agile on your laptop, then it would be good to have help with that. And so we're not linking ourselves to any particular hospital. We are talking to a number of healthcare providers about making primary care services more accessible, including, home visits. But so far that's a dream and there's nothing there, no there yet. But as Medicare changes its reimbursement policies, there are some promising things coming up, and that might really help us enact that.
Without the CPI limit, it's a deal killer for me. Cost of
Yeah, cost of living, consumer price index.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's something we'll have more of an idea about by May when we're taking the 10% deposits.
Okay.
Kyle and I haven't run one of these before.
Well, who knows? We may get deflation at some point.
Yeah.
It's unlikely, but it's a nice thought. Any other questions or thoughts? Are you planning to have a van?
We're not starting with a van because the vans are expensive and you have to have somebody to staff it. We are going to, there's actually some really exciting things happening for transportation for seniors in McKinleyville and development, including some services like Uber where you could call and get rides without paying. But again, fortunately, we have another couple of years for that to work out. It's another thing where Timber Ridge does have a van, and there would be open to our, having a certain fee to use their, have people pile on to their van service. So they, we will help get people to where they need to go.
Indeed, and
we'll
that's also, oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go
I
ahead.
was just going to simply say that's part of the community aspect is where we also want residents, not that it's required, but conversing with your fellow residents of Humboldt Commons and really giving you the opportunity in a concentrated community to develop those relationships. You find individuals who have a similar schedule to you, and that's also the attraction of living in such a collaborative community.
Well, we have a good model and there's no reason why we can't work with it. It's the Rebel Coast Village. And I encourage you all to check that out. Is if you not, even if you don't, whether or not you move into Humboldt Commons, it's of working out of the Senior Resource Center now in Eureka. And it's an organization dedicated to helping people get services they need, like transportation and handyman service, or little repair services and things, and organizes volunteers to do that. And really something that a relationship that we want to explore and grow with, and both we can provide volunteers for it, but we can also benefit from the volunteers system that they have set up. And there's a question about the expansion of the nursing program at Cal Poly. Will that help? That will help healthcare in Humboldt County, and anything that helps healthcare in Humboldt County helps us as aging people. Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Katerina said, I just moved here in May and still waiting to start my allergen injections from meeting with my allergy doctor in August and November 2025. Is there any group up here helping to get better care up here that I can volunteer with? I would do that for sure.
Oh, boy. I know you could have maybe contact the Humboldt Del Norte County Medical Society. There are, and actually, Senator McGuire's had some public forums on healthcare, and I don't know that there's any formal group working on it. Does anybody in the audience know?
No.
Guess not. Read the local papers and follow it.
Indeed.
But it's something that we do have a subcommittee, and for Humboldt Commons, we're kind of trying to make, look at the issue of access to care, because that's a community-wide issue. So, it's a national issue, but there's nothing, by working together, we can help make connections.
there's a lot we can do by working together. So what we need is organizers like Lindsay, Ann Lindsay, who has put this whole thing together with many of you from the community from scratch over the last 6 years. And I think she's done a marvelous job. And we're extremely appreciative of all that she's done. And when you need help, Ann, you need to say so and tell us what kind of help so that we can do that. I love having you on and giving you this opportunity to speak to the OLLI community and to the community overall. So I truly appreciate your participation here. And Kyle, welcome aboard. This is your first OLLI meeting. And I will go on and let you know that next week on March 2nd, we are going to be talking with Reese Huge about the best late winter and spring walks in Humboldt County. Hopefully it will quit raining by then, but no guarantees. He'll give you an overview of some of the best Humboldt County wet weather walks and drives and early season flower walks. To make one comment, which is interesting, every year I've noticed that the trillium come up in the forest in one particular spot by the beginning of February. It's been so bloomin' cold, they haven't put their little leaves out just yet. And it's like, I keep looking, it's like, where are you? So hopefully this warmer weather will encourage them to come up. And we do encourage you to sign up for our brown bag lunch invitations as reminders. But if not, make sure you get on the newsletter list because that will also give you the reminder there. And if anybody wants to or has a suggestion for brown bag lunch programs that they'd like to have, speakers, I'm putting together for the summer. And I'm happy to hear from you. And there will be a link in the newsletter so you can do that. Or you can just call me, janepwoodward@aol.com. You can email me. Love having you coming. Thank you ever so much. You're doing great work
Thank you
and
so much for having us.
Thank you, Jane.
happy to do it.
Bye-bye.
Good to seeing you all.
Thank you.
Take care.